because it's just always like this when we start these streams. I'm just going to use this moment to, do something that I set out on the last time. Not the last stream, but the last time I thought about doing this. Give me a moment. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. We're going to do another hexagram for the I Ching. Just give me a moment here. I'm ready. Ready when you are, YouTube. I'm ready when you are. Okay. So the name for this hexagram is called, I'm assuming this is the pronunciation, Kun. There you go. By the way, this translation of the I Ching is by Alfred Wong. I highly recommend it. It's my favorite one. Not that I've read other translations. Anyway, also I should show you. Whoop. As you can see, the hexagram Earth over Earth. And it means, woo, responding. So we're just going to read the Yao text. Initial 6. Treading on hoarfrost. A token of solid ice coming. Yin energy is condensing. Following this natural sequence, solid ice is at hand. Second 6. The movement of the second 6 is straight because of its uprightness. It is spontaneous, operating without effort. Nothing is unfavorable. The light of earth is carrying forward. Third 6. Appropriate to be steadfast. Oh, wait, sorry. Containing excellence. Appropriate to be steadfast and upright. Probably serving a king. Claim no credit. Carrying things through to the end. Fourth 6. I'm kind of... Oh, sorry. Fourth 6. Tie up a bag. No fault, no praise. Fifth 6. A yellow lower garment. Supreme good fortune. Top 6. Dragons playing in the wilderness. Their blood is blue-yellow. And then all 6s. Because this is a... There's a special name for hexagrams where they're like the same. So for this one, like Earth over Earth. All 6s. Favorable to be perseveringly steadfast and upright. So there you go. Let's get to painting. I'm going to switch here. Get us set up. So I think I mentioned this the other night. The painting that there were a couple paintings that I had done some time ago when I was staying at an Airbnb, and I left one for the hosts at the Airbnb, and it was a nighttime painting. And I want to do another one because it's a very fun painting to do. Let me kind of... Don't want to be too close to this one camera that's a little... it's a little delicate. It's a little sensitive. And what I'm doing, too, while I... before I put this tape down, I just kind of lightly apply it to my legs to take off some of the stickiness. And that way, when I peel it off of the paper... Oh, this is kind of a tight space to work with. But like I was saying, when I peel it off the paper later on, much later on after everything's dried, it won't it won't rip the paper off so intensely. So we're just going to do this real quick. Because I don't want the paper to curl up too much while I'm painting. So that's where this tape comes in handy. And something I've been kind of thinking about today before I decided to do this evening, and we'll see if it's a problem or not, is I don't know how long it's going to take this paint to dry, so there may be spots where I'm just like, I don't know what to do while we wait for paint to dry. Maybe we'll just read more of the I Ching. Maybe I can just read you commentary. Hope you like that. That's what I got. Or I can answer questions in the chat. It's up to y'all. Or I can answer questions about the I Ching. The ones that I can answer. I can't answer all of them. Anyway. So I need to select a color here. It's a nighttime painting. It's going to be like a dark blue, right? I'm probably going to mix up like a black with this blue right here. I mean, you really can't see a whole lot of what I'm doing right now. And we can do multiple washes, of course. You know, doesn't have to be resolved all in one go. So, get a little bit of extra water here, and I'm just gonna get it started. And right now, this is kind of like, in some sense, priming the paper a little bit. I'm just like getting it ready to really soak up the pigment I'm about to put down, because the watercolor pigment's pretty intense. And I want to go for pretty dark, and honestly, that's probably not enough blue. I might even do, you give me a second here, I might even just take out, because this isn't getting the effect I want. I'm gonna just go for, I'm just gonna go straight out of the tube. I'm gonna get weird. And this might also be, this might be a mess. But let's see if we can fix it up as we go along. Because like I said, this is just part one, right? We're working back to front. So we're doing the nighttime sky first, and so I want to get that color just how I want it. How I want it is, I want it to be very blue, but I want there to be also a certain amount of darkness. So here we are. Here's one of those awkward moments where we have to wait for paint to dry. So while we wait for paint to dry, let's go back to the I Ching, and I can just keep you all busy with a little bit of commentary from this hexagram we were reading. All right. And so just for I'm just laughing because I was looking at it, it's like, oh, we have the camera where you can just watch paint dry. So I hope you enjoy watching paint dry while I read you this. So they're going to refer to the hexagram as a gua, just so you know. So when I say gua, I'm referring to, like I said, we're referring to, what the heck? Was I reading the right thing? Yeah, okay. I'm referring to this thing. Right there. Oh, lighting is we're gonna get it. I'm not good at this. Yeah. You see what I'm pointing at. Anyway. Okay, significance. This gua is one of the 8 among the 64 accomplished gua that is made up by doubling one of the 8 primary gua. So in other words, there are 8 hexagrams in the I Ching that are doubles of each other, and that's kind of important. It's representative of sort of like the pure aspect of those elements. So there's heaven, earth, wood, wind, water, fire, thunder, lake. Those are the, hopefully I got all of them, all the 8 elements. Here the accomplished gua is kun. Responding, the primary gua is earth. The I Ching describes the relationship of yin and yang, the 2 primary and fundamental forces in the universe. They are opposite but mutually complementary. The ancient Chinese believed that too much yang and too little yin is too hard, without elasticity and likely to be broken. Too much yin and too little yang is too soft, without spirit and likely to become inert. Yin and yang must coordinate and support each other. I'm going to mess up the pronunciation of this word. Kyan represents the most yang, so that's Kyan is heaven, heaven over heaven. Kun represents the most yin. In the I Ching, all 64 gua are derived from the principle of the mutual coordination and complementarity of yin and yang. One of the commentaries says, yin is the most gentle and submissive. When put in motion, it is strong and firm. Yin is the most quiet and still. When taking action, it is able to reach a definite goal. So typically, I'm just looking at the paint here, seeing if it's ready for me to layer over. Typically, I don't have, hold on. Typically, in ancient Chinese sort of cosmology, yin is considered the manifesting energy, while yang is like the spirit, the core, I don't know what to call it. I still am kind of find myself at times grasping for how to like define what yang is. Yin I can define easily. It makes a lot of sense to me, but yang I'm a little bit not as certain. I'll put it that way. And we can get back to that, but I want to do the second layer. I think, like I said, it's kind of, you can see the sheen on it. In fact, you can, if I point, if I put the light on, you can really see it. And it's still a little wet, and that's okay. But you want it to dry up some. You want to dry up enough that it's not like not going to soak up anything. So like that's the issue when you don't have, when it's like too wet, it's not going to like soak up your pigment particularly well. So we're just going to do a quick wash. It's sort of a dark black color. I just want to darken this blue a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too much. Just enough. And this is honestly the hardest part. The hardest part is having the patience to wait for like this background color to kind of set in. And then after that, it goes a little bit faster. But I have noticed that in my watercolor painting, if I'm willing to like allow myself to wait a little bit and give it just like a little bit of time, it'll reward me with better paintings. If I like go too fast, you know, what ends up happening is just like the water kind of repels the pigment a little bit, and so it doesn't like get to set in, and you don't really get the colors that you want. So it just takes it can be frustrating because of how much time it takes, right? There are solutions to this, by the way, that I could resolve for myself if I bought a blow dryer, which I do not have right now. So that might be a purchase I make in the very near future. Or, even better idea, and because it's actually kind of warm tonight, I'm going to turn on the fan. I wish I had thought about this sooner. So give me one moment. I will resolve this problem and have a little bit of airflow. Yeah, it's probably high enough. So I still want it to be darker. So I'm going to get out the Payne's Gray. This is one of my favorite colors. Payne's Gray. Don't know if you can read that. I'm going to actually do a little bit of it straight out of the tube. And just like wet it a little bit and just get it on the paper. This is hopefully not going to be too dark. I really like Payne's Gray a lot. It's kind of a cool, by cool I mean the temperature of it is like more towards a blue than towards like a warm. And looking at how dark I'm going on this is going to make some decisions for me about how I go about doing the trees. Because eventually we're going to do trees here. Eventually. I knew as soon as I decided I wanted to do the stream tonight, I was like, this is going to be very challenging because there's going to be a whole lot of just like waiting around. There's going to be a whole lot of just doing nothing. And I'm looking for my favorite brush. I need to get it real quick. Need this one. My trusty red brush. See, I think... Yeah, there we go. You can see that better. So yeah, you see like the paper's already curling up pretty hard. So imagine if I didn't have the tape there, it'd be curling up even worse. So it's just gonna be one of those paintings. It's gonna work out. I promise. It's gonna work out. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but it's gonna work out. So next, I want to start in the background, and we're probably, it's wet. It's pretty wet, but that's okay. If it's wet, that's not too big of a deal for what I want to go for, because right now, I just want to put in like distant background trees. And probably what I'll do for that is get out more Payne's Gray. I'm going to put that in that palette. And then mix it up real quick. And I'm just going to start putting some trees in the background. And I just want to keep it loose. Because this is just the background. It's not like, it's dark too, so you want it to be kind of vague. I'm already seeing some issues happen here. Some things pop up. Potential problems. So note to self, y'all remind me for next time, I'm going to get a blow dryer so I don't run into this problem again. Because it's something I've been needing to do anyway. But yeah, for this, you're just like, you don't want to be too delicate. You just want to put down shapes. And don't think about it too much. You're just like, tree, think tree. What we're ultimately going for, just something to fill in. And I want to create at least 2 layers of separation. But I might do a distant background as well. We'll see. We'll see how the painting looks once I finish this part. But I'm gonna need more Payne's Gray, I think. I don't know if there's enough. And so for this area, we're gonna have to really let it dry pretty good. So we might be reading a lot of I Ching for a second. Unless y'all have a lot of questions to ask. I'm happy to answer them right now because I'll need a little bit of time to just sit around and let the paint dry. I'm just gonna dab in some stuff here. And maybe, what if I take the ivory black? Go in with a little bit of that. Just kind of fill in. And just punch up some of the darkness here. Just in spots. I want to maintain some of it as it is. Like I said, this is just step 1 of many. I'm curious too, isn't it? Okay, that top area is starting to dry. That's cool. That's what I want. This bottom area I'm not so confident about. I'm just kind of like, delicately applying it. All right. Go in here. So that's going to be our background. And we need it to dry. We need it to dry for quite a bit of time. Unfortunately, I'll at least grab my black ink because hold on, do I have ooh, I do have this. I just need a good brush for the ink because I'm going to get the India ink. So let me get that real quick. Because I came so prepared today. It's almost like I decided to do this last minute. This is... Oh, it's so... that reflection's so intense. You can't see it. Or maybe you can see it right here. Yeah. Dr. P.H. Martin's Black Star. This is matte. You can do other variants of India ink. I love India ink. It's about as deep a dark a black as you could get, right? I've used this stuff for like inking pages. So like early pages of Trailer Park Warlock. So for instance, like season 1 of Trailer Park Warlock was done with this. Like I inked it with this stuff. Really like the lines you can make with it. Super, like if you get it on anything, like you get it on your clothes, it's not coming out. Like it's stuck there for the rest of your life. So just be careful of that, you know. It's not like watercolor. Watercolor washes out. If you, if you put it in the wash, generally it washes out. India ink, not so much. India ink it'll stay. But it's great if you need something that's archival, something that is, it says on the label it's waterproof. You can see right there. Camera's having a hard time focusing. Give me a second here. I need a sip of water. Like I was saying, really great stuff. If you want to work with like, deep dark blacks, can't recommend it enough. And so in the meantime, still waiting, and you can see, I'll show you. See how like that paint is like wet, but you can tell background, it's pretty much dry at this point. And in fact, I would consider putting in, I could do that, but I think I want to wait. I want to put stars in the sky, but I want to wait until this, until I've put in like the foreground trees. And we're not ready for that yet, unfortunately. So Jess says, for a second I thought this paper was huge. It is bigger than paper I've worked on previous illustrations, because usually in other illustrations I work on like 6x8, and this is, I believe it's 9x12. So it is bigger for sure. Not huge, obviously. I do want to work on some huge illustrations in the near future, but I don't feel quite ready for that. Not quite. I'm not feeling not feeling up to it yet. Yeah, well, it's also like, so Jess was saying the camera setup tricked me for a minute. Yeah, because of the way the camera is set up, it's extremely foreshortened. And I'm eventually going to have a setup that's a little more conducive to having like just a flat, situation. Just as I thought it was the size of a dining room table. That's funny. I do want to do a painting the size of a dining room table. That would be pretty awesome. So, still waiting on this paint to dry. I'll tell you what. I want to see where could I get started? Because I want to start already. I'm impatient. Make sure and put that dropper somewhere where it cannot fall and destroy everything. Alright. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start up at kind of the tip-top edge. We'll see how this goes. Oh yeah, this will work. Although this brush, I don't know, this brush is kind of small. That's okay. We have plenty of time. So I'm just going to start dabbing in leaves, basically. And you can see you see what I mean? Like how much darker it is than the watercolor, like ivory black and Payne's gray I was talking about. This stuff is intense. That's why I love it. And, in the future, I mean, I've been doing a lot of paintings using this, kind of ink. I don't know if I'm trying, lately I've been trying to kind of get out of that comfort zone. And, hold on, y'all. I want to get a different brush. This is what happens when you're super unprepared. And you're just like, spur of the moment, I just want to do a recording. Hold on one moment, I'm going to get a different brush. There's an important reason why I want to use this brush. I'll do it. Look. Come on, focus, man. Maybe this will be better. You see how, like, spread out those bristles are? Maybe you can't because it's so blurry. But because the bristles are able to, like, spread out, it's much better for doing sort of, like, leafy, piney kind of stuff. And this is a brush that's like so destroyed, I'm not worried about the tip anymore, so I can just like press down on it and just be abusive with it. There's not too many things in the world that you want to treat in that way, but brushes, not that big of a deal. They can get some really nice stuff. Just says, ink scares me a little. I'm so messy and ink is quite permanent. Yep, that's definitely... That's definitely, I don't know what happened for me, but there was a point where I guess ink didn't bother me anymore. I think it was just like I destroyed so many illustrations that I got to a point where I was sort of like numb to it. And so, I think once I reached that point of numbness, I was just like, something clicked in like, I wasn't able to... Or not able to, but I just wasn't worried about it anymore. Just says, chewed up brushes are so good for leaves. Exactly. They're perfect for leaves. You can get also like really awesome textures in general out of them. You can do like cool dry brush stuff. It's one of my favorite things. So, let's see. I'm probably going to take this. Yeah, because like I want to go over... I'm going to go over that background tree, right? With another branch here. And eventually, see how this works. Didn't plan this one through. Probably put in a tree right here. Gosh, hopefully this works out. This is like, I didn't really think that through. I don't know if this is going to work compositionally, but I'll try and make it work. I have ideas. That's all I'm saying. I have ideas. But yeah, Jess, you know, the thing that I started becoming worried about a lot was just like chewing up my brushes. And then once I started watercoloring, that was the point at which I was like, okay, I'm not worried about that anymore because I'm just going to have brushes that are whose whole purpose is to be chewed up so I can make cool textures. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you're like inking line art or whatever, you definitely want to have like a beautiful fine pen or, you know, brush tip to work with. So I want to leave a certain amount of open space here so you can kind of see through the leaves at the top. Getting a little bit, closing it up a little more than I was like comfortable with, but maybe this will work. Jess says, last time I used ink, I think I had purple fingertips for 3 days. Yeah, that sounds about right. I know I've been in that place. When I was working on Garage Raja, that's how it was. I had, you know, it was one of those things where I was just like, yeah, my fingertips are going to be covered in ink stains perpetually. I think eventually, once I had transitioned over to like digital, you know, there was a point at which I didn't have that anymore. It was no longer branded. I think I might do a little bit more this like foreground stuff, but not a whole lot. At this point, I want to start thinking about putting in some stars. This is a very different painting from the last one I did. And it's honestly like a little darker than I want it to be totally honest. Probably went too dark, but that's okay. Next goal. I'm just going to do that for now, put that aside. And I'm going to get out those rare times where I use the white paint. Ooh, I might... Do I need... No, I don't. I just need to use a different brush. Why is the brush I need always, like, somewhere else? It's ridiculous. Driving myself nuts. Alright, so I'm just going to start putting in some stars here. And one of those stars accidentally just became like a shooting star. That's fine, that works for me. That's a kind of it's a big old star. want to get some stars shining through the leaves. So kind of go up here. This is the fun part. So I'm trying to get a little bit more of a delicate application here. Jess says some of the stars could be Starlink satellites. Yeah, I suppose so. It's probably enough. I don't want to go too hard. But it's kind of fun to do. I'm not gonna lie. In the future, I might. No. Another way that I've seen stars done is like, somebody covers the surface with matte black and then gets like a toothbrush and then like white gesso paint and then just like, flicks the toothbrush. And so the splatter from flicking the toothbrush creates these really great organic looking star patterns. That's a really great way of doing that. This painting, gonna be 100% honest, not one of my strongest paintings. I will post it on social media though tomorrow once it's dried. Jess, imagine my disappointment. Oh wait. Jess, the first time I saw those, I really thought I was seeing a line of UFOs. She's referring to the Starlink satellites. And she says, imagine my disappointment. Yeah, that is disappointing. It's like, dang, it's not a UFO. I would be disappointed too. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure this painting will grow on me. But right now I'm looking at it, I'm like, The other one that I did that I gave to my Airbnb host, I like the way that one turned out a lot more. But I guess I shouldn't be envious of old paintings. That's probably not a good. Jess says, you have to wait until you take the tape off to make judgments. True. And that's going to be a while. I don't know if we're going to be doing that during the, because like, look, check out, like that, all that is still wet. So I think next time I do another one of these kinds of paintings on stream, I'm probably not going to like pre-wet the surface like I did this time. There are times where that makes sense and like really works out really well. It didn't work out that well for this one. I think that it kind of created more problems than I wanted it to. I might touch up a little bit though. Down here. But I guess that's the reality of it, is like no two paintings are going to ever be the same. You're always going to have like little variations, mutations. Things go wrong. Sometimes things go right if you're lucky. So I'm just like, I want to create a little more contrast between background and foreground. Make it a little more obvious. Because there's some areas where I'm like, I don't really care for how that looks. But I do enjoy, like, I don't know, how the background trees sort of look. It's just not, it's not exactly what I want so far. But as Jess said, I'll know better once the tape has been taken off. Jess said, I guess you'll have to wait till tomorrow to make judgments. Yeah. Which means I think I probably need to call it on this painting. Because if I do anything else, it's just going to be, like, overworked. So, let's do another paint check. Yeah, look at that. That's dangerous. Like this whole, all this right here is a danger zone. You touch any of it, you're marked. You're branded. You'll never get the ink out. It'll just be stuck on your hand permanently. And people are like, what happened to you? And you'll have to like bow your head in shame and just say, I was painting and I failed. But I'm not going to call this a failure. Not until I take the tape off. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I'm going to call it for tonight. I think next time I do an illustration like this, I'm going to do something a little sunnier, a little more like color vibrant. I was trying to do something that I'd already done because I just love the way that painting turned out, that original one, and I just couldn't grasp what I liked about that first one. Anyway, that happens. Anyway, y'all have a great night tonight. I know it's supposed to be pretty stormy out there for those of y'all in the south and on the East Coast. Or the central, I guess you'd call it central United States. It's supposed to be pretty stormy tonight. Stay safe. And I will talk to y'all again later. All right. Good night.